What's going on, guys? All right, so I want to ask you a question. So I was talking to my one of my buddies who's in the church today, and we're just talking at church and stuff. And he asked me like, do you really think that that we're going to go into some Great Depression or things like that? And what do you think is going to happen? And I told him some stuff that I have shared on this channel before, which is, I think we're going to go through some very, very, very serious economic tough times. I think that because we're in America, we're going to be insulated by what who knows 70% of the world might face. But that doesn't mean that you're going to be completely insulated from it. I think it's going to get very tough, and I think that there are things that you should prepare for. So that's what I want to share with you today. I know we do a lot of other things on this channel, but I want to ask you this question: if you were in the Bible if you were a story in the Bible, in fact, if a chapter of the Bible was being written about our day and our time in 2022, and we had the leaders in the world and all these things happening. I want you to think about um, what story that's in the Bible would be similar to what's going on now. Okay, so I think that's a very interesting way to look at it. And so one of the things that we started talking about tonight at church was that there's the story of Joseph, and so Joseph felt like he heard God. And I think there's a lot of people right now who feel like they hear God. They feel like they hear God saying something, but they don't know what. But they feel like they hear God saying, "Man, maybe I should prepare. Maybe I should think. Maybe I should try to prepare for what is coming." So Joseph was no different, guys. He didn't hear some audible voice. He didn't get some fire, some God voice talking out of a fiery bush. He didn't, what I'm saying. He didn't ask God, "Well, if I just see, three shooting stars all in a row, then I'll believe God." He didn't ask for some crazy miracle. He interpreted a dream, felt like he heard something from God, and then he acted on it, guys. And that's what I want to share with you today: is what is the plan? What is your plan? And if you have nothing planned right now, I think the worst thing that you could do is to think that if I do nothing, I'll be okay, or to take that posture of, well, God will just take care of me. Because here's the thing, guys, most likely that is a cover up for your inadequacy, whatever your inadequacy is. And I'm not trying to beat you up. I'm just trying to say that if you're not, if you're not a preparer, then you're just going to say, well, I'll just trust God. Well, if you don't have money, well, then I'll just trust God. But see, that's exactly why you're always unprepared. That's exactly why you don't have money, is because it's not, I'll just trust God. It's God gave you legs. He gave you hands. He gave you arms. He gave you a brain. I'm saying? He gave you the tools to go out and be successful in those areas. So you don't need to just throw it out there. Let's go trust God, or I'll just trust God. And I think that is it is an unbiblical belief that we have it's because of our Western worldview, that we have that belief, because of things that have been taught and preached in the last 20, 30 years, really, in the church. And so let me put it to you this way. Why do you wear a seatbelt? Why do you have insurance? Why do you lock your doors at night? Why don't we just trust God, right? Why do you go on dating apps? Why do you just trust God? You know what I'm saying? All those things that you trust God on, you do something. So with this right here, that could affect your life and all this stuff, I just want to have you consider, what are you doing to affect that part of your life? So I want to give you a plan that I talked about with somebody today. And if you guys want to see this kind of stuff every single day, you should subscribe to my Texas Digital Outdoors plan. Maybe we'll try to leave a link, my Texas Digital Outdoors channel, which is just another free YouTube channel. But we talk about this every single day out there, and we give real plans and real things that you can do, practical things that you can do. And it's from everybody from, if you're living in an apartment, all the way out to like nice ranches and stuff like we live on. And it's for people of all walks of life. So, but here's what I talked about today. And I wrote these things down. I wanted to share it with you, as if me and you were talking, right? Whether you're a guy, girl, married, single, divorced, whatever, whether you're young or old or whatever, I think these are practical things that you can do. Okay, so number one, if you haven't already done this, become a true minimalist right now. Okay, you want to be a minimalist. Trust me, you don't want to go out and buy some new car. You don't want to go out and buy, like, there's going to be some things that are going to be really inexpensive coming into the inventory levels in retail right now. So like things such as TVs and like stuff that you might find from China. Lumber is really cheap right now. There's certain things that are really cheap right now because of a thing called the bullwhip effect, which I don't really have time to go into on this video. But if you want to check my other Texas Digital Outdoors channel, I have a whole thing about the bullwhip effect. effect and how that is changing things in the economy, so that people think that, oh well, this is cheap, well there's a 2 for 1 on that, well there's a 50% off on that. But the reason for that is the bullwhip effect, that there's a flood of inventory in the market. And I'm not going to go into it all here, but there's a specific reason why floods of inventory happen right before a serious recession. And that is exactly what we are seeing right now. Is we're seeing some things like, there's some things you go to Walmart, it's like incredibly cheap. And then there's other things that like, the most expensive thing is going to be food. You know what I'm saying? Like food is going to get extremely costly. Gas is going to be extremely costly. And overall, your dollar is just not going to go very far. So if you're planning on spending $500 on Christmas gifts this year, well, that $500 is going to give you $200 or $250 of return if you're to wait till the end of the year. That is most likely what I would estimate is going to happen this year, just based on sheer inflation. So, and also supply and demand. There's just not going to be as much supply at the end of this year. So, if you can become a minimalist right now, that allows you to be able to save cash so that you can invest. Okay. And even if you're not an investor or whatever, I'm telling you some practical things that you can do. But you want to become a minimalist. And so this is what you do: go through every room of your house, every closet, every drawer. Just take a weekend and do this, guys. Pile up all the stuff you don't absolutely need. Okay, get stuff out of boxes, whatever, and go sell all that crap. Okay, I'm telling you, sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it. Okay, somebody else out there is going to need it, and you sell it. Don't worry about even getting full price. Just sell it. If you can sell TVs, if you can sell couches, whatever, sell it and get yourself some cash. Okay, this is one big thing that you can do to get yourself a little bit of a cushion is become a minimalist. Okay, sell it on marketplace, on Nextdoor, things like that. Okay, the next thing, number two, is you want to start to save cash. Okay, so I'm not a big proponent of saving cash. Saving cash is really for like lower class, lower class, or even middle class. But like once you get to upper and beyond, saving cash is not a very smart thing. And that virtually no one does it, especially the higher up you go. But there's a way. You have to collect cash in order to do something with cash. You can't invest what you don't have, right? So what I'm saying is maybe not save cash. I'm here saying collect cash. Start collecting your cash, obviously in your bank account or whatever, and look for ways to invest that. And I'll tell you about that here in one of the points. But you want to start saving cash. So what do I mean by that? I mean things like, guys. So I have enough money to wash cars, to get my hair cut, whatever. Well, I don't do those things anymore. I don't. I cut my own hair, cut my kids' hair. I mean, when you got 4 little kids plus me, it's easy $150. I used to go to the boardroom haircut place back when I was had my little mini mansion in Dallas. I mean, it was like $150 every single time I went to go get my haircut, and I just bought an annual subscription that was like $2,000, something like that. And so but not guys, I'm not doing any of that stuff anymore. And it's not even that I'm broke or whatever. So if you're broke, that's obviously something you shouldn't be doing, or you should consider saving that cash. But it's not just that, it's knowing how to take that money and put it back into something else, invest that into something else. If you're gonna go get a $20 haircut, you might as well take that money and go buy a $20 bag of rice. It's gonna give you much more return. That's gonna be much more sufficient. So any of those kind of things, those are just two simple examples of something you can do to start collecting cash. Okay, the next thing you need to do is learn how to collect. I'm gonna get some practical, kind of primitive or whatever you want to call it, things, but this is something I think you should do that's easy and inexpensive, is learn how to collect water. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. With blackouts and all kinds of things that the president's talking about, and we don't know, what's the next plant to get burnt down or whatever, guys. Trust me, if your water supply is not good and you don't know how to boil, clean, and filter water, and or what if your water just stops? Okay, I mean these things have happened before, and or what if you can't pay? What if your water bill is $300 or $800? When I used to have a pool in my mini mansion, there were times when my water or my one of my utilities, like electricity, was like $1,500 in a month. $1,500. And so, but normal people are going to start seeing stuff like that, where your $100 bill might be $300. And you've already seen that hike almost all across the country in electricity. If you look at your electricity bill, what you paid 2 years ago, you're paying about 100% more now than you were before in almost every part of the country. So I think that understanding how to collect your own water, so water and power are two big things that you should talk about. You should try to get self-reliant self-reliant on or somewhat self-reliant on. And so I'm going to talk about both of those, but water is very easy, guys. It's the simplest one where you basically buy 55-gallon drums. Okay. You want to buy plastic ones, 55-gallon plastic drums. Um, and you can buy them used for about $10, $20 on Marketplace, or you can go buy brand new ones for about $100, $110 at any kind of Lowe's or Tractor Supply or whatever. And if they're used, just clean them out. Okay, make sure there's not a chemical in there. If it's okay if it's like soap or food, some type of food product like oil or something, like vegetable oil or something would be fine. Um, but basically, what you want to do is connect you get a connector. I'll put the link here on Amazon where you can collect water from your downspouts off of your house. Okay, so you basically integrates right into your downspout, and now you're collecting water, and you'll be able to fill those things up. And I would get one for every person you have in your house. Okay, and then that's going to allow you to have sustainable water for a long time. You're still going to have to clean, filter, and do things like that with that water, but you will have water. Okay, so that is a huge thing. Another thing around water is I would definitely make sure you have, some type of filtration systems for every person in the house. So they have a primary and a backup. So it could be Life Straws, it could be the Sawyer Mini water filter, which is the best one I think, because that allows you to actually clean water and be on the move. If you had to be on the move with a Life Straw, you actually have to be at the source of water. So if you're getting water out of a pond or a creek, you actually have to be at the creek to drink, versus the other one, you could be on the move, or you could bring it back to your house, whatever, and work, and the filter works, and the filter can also be used as a straw as well. um, other type of cleaners, anything from bleach, pull shock, iodine, there's a lot of different ways, and also just fire to clean. So anyway, that is some super basic things, guys. And you might say, well, why didn't you mention food first or whatever? I'm just saying, guys, most people will die because of water, than lack of water, than lack of food. You can go 30 days, 25, 30, 40 days without food. You can't go 3 or 4 days without water. You will die. Okay. So water, it would be the most important thing for all of your children, for everybody, is knowing how to always have good, clean water. The next one is going to be food. Once again, you're going to need to go over to I'll try to leave a link here in the video, of our preppers guide that kind of goes over this stuff in detail. But once again, guys, you might have heard me say this before, but rice and beans is going to be the best return on your dollar for calories returned on your dollar, bar none. I've done all the math. I looked at all the stuff. I don't care if it's bulk this, bulk that. Cans, food, and all that stuff is nowhere near as healthy, nutritious, or return on dollars for calories. It's not even close. So if you need brown rice, get brown rice or whatever, but that is number one in terms of food. You can also calculate how many calories you need per day per person. It's easy. Do the math on a piece of paper and then say, okay, every day my family needs 8,000 calories or 4,000 calories or whatever it is, or 6,000 calories. And then you look at, how much food you have, and you go, okay, this bag of rice is 80,000 calories. So that will last me X amount of days if I do the division on that. Okay. The next thing you want to look at in terms of food would be flavorings, such as different ways to flavor. So like chicken stock, those kind of things. There's lots of different ways to flavor your food. Could be salt or whatever, garlic, whatever. But trust me, after a while, you're going to be tired of eating that. And so that is a big thing. By the way, you will have a lot of different options in terms of, things you can do with rice and beans, but rice and beans will allow you to have good sustainability across many different things, meats, vegetables, or whatever you add into it as well. The next thing that I would look at is solar generators. So I won't go through this in detail, but I'll just tell you solar is really big. Solar generators, which for us will include solar, air conditioning, and things like that. And the last thing I wanted to share is investments of cash. So that's going to be business, crypto, metals, like gold and silver and things like that. So those are the things you want to look out for, guys. In the last 2 years, billionaires had the biggest financial increase in their in our lifetime. I don't know ever, but definitely in our lifetime. The average billionaire came up 30% of their overall wealth. 30% the average billionaire did. Why? Because when the poor get poorer, the rich get richer. Because when pandemics and those kind of things, lockdowns happen, the only person making more money is the elites. And so trust me, guys, you want to be able to swim upstream during all this. You don't want to get washed downstream. And so knowing how to invest your money into businesses, look for anybody that's rich or wealthy, we have some things going on. We're trying to help a couple people a month with building or expanding their YouTube accounts and making their YouTube accounts cash flow really fast, even if they're not monetized yet. We have ways to do it pretty instantly. If you're interested in that, hit me up at info@jamessmiley.org. One of my people can explain it to you and see if we can get you in, but info@jamessmiley.org. But anyway, guys, this is what we are doing. What we're telling people. Another really big thing might be to have a plan B. So, such as a location, somebody who has a ranch or a house out in the country, and you want to get families starting to meet up, talking about logistics, how you're going to get there, when would you guys go, what are the bug out plans, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, guys, God bless you. Hope you take this serious, and don't live in fear. Don't do this in fear. Do it in faith, because the most important weapon that will keep you alive in any type of situation, whether it's regular life or survival, is your mind. So anyway, guys, I'll talk to you soon. I'll be here every single day. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you soon. See you tomorrow.